You're live? Oh my god, you're live. Hello.
Yeah, I'll have to mute everything else first.
We're already live, right?
Live?
But are we starting? Should we start now or just wait for like you said?
Oh, there's a Facebook live stream as well.
Yeah. Oh,
We're already live, right? Wait, so I was sharing the YouTube one? Okay, man, should have shared it. Oh, there's a Facebook live stream as well. Yeah. We're already live. Okay, so I was sharing the YouTube one? Okay, man, should have shared it.
hold on, let me pass on social media.
Oh, it's Calvin. My man, Kelvin Tan. Oh, so it's actually better to actually watch it in YouTube. Actually, there's two live. It's just Facebook and YouTube. But yeah, I think YouTube is a lot better. A lot better. Oh, it's Calvin. My man, Kelvin Tan. Oh, so it's actually better to actually watch it in YouTube. Actually, there's two like there's Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, I think YouTube is a lot better. A lot better.
So we can start now. Okay. Okay. Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning. This is Ren. And my partner here.
Hi, this is Shibri.
Yeah, and we are from representatives from UNITEN Esports Club. So you all know who we got here, right? It is Flava as our guest for today.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about esports, and if you have any questions, just hit the comments below, and Shibri or I will check it out later, 10 minutes before this live session ends. So any questions running around your mind, just hit up the comment below. We aren't
All right.
going live yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are not starting yet.
Yeah. Right. So before we start properly, why don't we have our guest here, Mr. Flava, to introduce himself a bit to those that may or may not know him. Yeah, maybe just a brief introduction.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Muhammad Farouq bin Abdul Patah. So that's actually my real name and full name. Fortunately, most people don't actually know my real name, surprisingly, but people call me by the name Flavor in esports. Yeah. So currently, I'm working as the director of communications for the Malaysia Esports Federation, Electronic Sports Federation, which is the National Esports Association in Malaysia. Which was formed in the year 2015. But I only joined them in March 2019, which is last year. So roughly around a year and 5 months ago. Yeah, and currently, I'm also working as a esports MC and host.
Mm.
And I started off my career in esports back in 2012 when I started off as an esports commentator in Malaysia. So I did Dota 1 as a start because back in the days, everybody was playing Warcraft 3, Dota 1. And then the year after, transitioned into Dota 2 because that was a time when the beta was over and people can actually have free access to Dota 2 already. And Dota 1 was being long forgotten over the years as well. And then somewhere along the line, I kind of like shifted from being an esports commentator into doing esports hosting because there's much more opportunities. And plus, I think for me, I wasn't that versatile of a commentator where I could do 3, 4, 5 esports game titles at the same time. So if you know, like right now in the current scene in esports, you see there's a lot of commentators who can do 3 to 4 game titles at the same time as a commentator and not just focus on one. Because I think me personally, I prefer focusing on one game so that I actually have good in-depth knowledge on that game rather than having like so-so or okay knowledge on a number of games, just for the quality of things of it. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit from me.
That's very impressive.
I really thought this was an anime club when there was a Japanese introduction just now from Ren. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ren did start off with Ohio gozaimasu.
Yeah, he did. So I was like, okay, I'm at the wrong talk here. Yeah, but still, that was good.
All right, that's good. That's good. All right, so now that our viewers know like who we who we have here. Sorry about that. So before we properly start, like, is there usually we before this we ask like our potential viewers like what are things that we want to ask you, things that they want to know. So one of the questions that we've received is that let's say let me ask you this, like one of them asked you what are things that you need to do slash focus on if they are aspiring to be commentators as well?
Okay, if they're aspiring to become a what? Sorry again.
Aspire to be a commentator, a caster as well.
Oh, okay. I think it starts with interest. I think I've always had this belief that anyone can actually become an esports commentator. It's a career path in esports that not many people take up on because people are mainly too focused on becoming an esports athlete because you're playing the game. It's much more fun compared to talking about the game or even observing the game itself. It starts with interest, and then after that, you need to pick up on your knowledge on the game, doing research, and probably do a little bit of playing the game as well, so you can have a good understanding of the knowledge that you actually have and practice it a little bit, you know. But in most cases, some of the commentators, the knowledge itself is very good, or from observing and all that. So if you want to start off as a commentator, here's the problem. There were a number of people who wanted to become commentators in the esports scene, but they don't know how to start it off. For example, like, I want to do it. I want somebody to hire me as an esports commentator, and I'll show them that I'm good. But that's the problem. When you want to start, you don't exactly have a portfolio. You don't have any previous achievements for you to showcase to this potential clients, I would say. So you have to start with having a portfolio first, and to have a portfolio without having an actual event is not that easy, because you don't have an actual event to showcase your abilities. So what can you do? I always tell people that the best way you can actually do it is that to create a portfolio on yourself through videos, because making a video of yourself doing commentaries, it doesn't have to be for an actual tournament. You can actually do it on scrims, you can do it on practice match or whatever it is. Just do a recording of yourself doing a commentary on a specific game, from pre-game, drafting period, in-game, and post-game as well. So that, as assuming let's say, for example, I'm a potential client, I would like to hear how you sound like before a match, during the drafting phase, in game, and post game, so that I know that when I'm hiring you, this is how you're gonna sound like, this is how it's gonna feel like when you do your commentaries, and much more. And I have a good understanding what kind of commentator you are, because as you know, there's a number of types of commentators out there. We have hypecasters, we have analysts, we have colorcasters, we have the super high people, and much more. So once the organizers have a good understanding of what you are, then they can actually pair you up with the right people for the job itself. Because in most cases right now in the esports scene, people would actually have two casters or two commentators for a specific esports game title, may it be Mobile Legends, PUBG Mobile, Dota 2, CSGO, Hearthstone, wherever it may be, two casters, because sounds nice and better. Okay? And be sure when you actually do this kind of recordings, you actually suit up, wear nicely, because people also, because the thing about these potential organizers, that they want to see you in action through your voice and your appearance. Because when they're hiring you, they're going to go live, they're going to see you, and they're going to see how you look like in video, how you're going to do in live stream, hand gestures, how you deliver, because deliverables, it's also based on facial expressions, hand-eye movement, hand coordinations, and much more. So these things are very, very important. So once you actually have this kind of recordings, I mean, it's up to you. You can actually record yourself doing from start to finish, or you can do it halfway. Some people do it like halfway, because nobody's gonna watch the whole thing anyways. And also, good advice is try to do a minimum of 3 videos, so that the as a potential employer for you in upcoming events, I would like to see more than just 1 video. Possibly, maybe that if you show me 3 videos, I can actually evaluate whether or not you're consistent in your performance as a talent, because you're not going to be doing just commentaries on 1 game for that day. Probably you're going to be hired to actually do 2 best of 3s, which is like a minimum of 4 games, a maximum of 6 games for the day. And so we're going to see whether there's a consistency in performance. Are you versatile? If situation, much more, because different games are very, very different, and much more. Okay, so as a start, you need to have a portfolio of self. So when you submit your portfolio to your potential to these potential organizers, potential people who might be hiring you, they're not going to read your resume. If you're a commentator, they're not going to listen to what your background is. They don't care if you are a PhD, first class. Yeah, they don't care if you're a full-flat student in universities. They don't care all that. Even if you are, but you're not good as a commentator, which they're hiring you for, which is what the job is that you're applying for is, then there's no point, right? So what you want to showcase is that probably a lot more. When I say a portfolio, it's not about where you were born. It's not about when is your birthday and all that. Not a resume. It's called a profile. It's called a portfolio. So they want to see more of your pictures. They want to see more of your videos. So the thing that they can actually use to hire you, yeah. So, and then after that, I don't want to just stop there, because after you do your portfolio, the next question that you have is, okay, after that, what then? What then you need to do is that you need to engage or contact these potential organizers. In Malaysia, when it comes to esports, we have quite a number of organizers. We have more or less around 10 really good esports organizers in Malaysia. When I say really good, meaning that they've already had big esports events under their belt. Some of them are tier one esports organizer, which they've done really, really big events in Malaysia, some of tier 2, tier 3, and much more. Okay. But nevertheless, all of them actually have really good events under their belt. So these are the people that you want to contact because they do events and probably they will be interested to hire new talents in the upcoming future, or probably if they if the weekend is actually scarce on esports talent, they might want to hire some new ones, and potentially, if given the opportunity, they might hire you in the long run as well. So you need to contact them, get their email. If you're lucky enough, you might get their phone number, engage with them, and submit your profile, submit your link to your YouTube videos. Remember, when you do your recordings, post it on YouTube. Okay, post it on YouTube. Don't save it as a recording and live stream in Facebook. Just post it on YouTube. It has a better quality, crisp of audio value, video quality, and much more. Okay, much better to actually be on YouTube. Send them the links, and then hope for the best. Hopefully, they will actually get back to you and say, "Hey, you know what? We're interested to hire you as a commentator." That's how you start. Okay, I mean, anything more in depth will be more or less like how to become professional and how to deliver well as a commentator and much more. How to appear well on TV and as such. Yeah. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, it clearly
All right.
answers the question. So
Yes, that was very insightful.
yeah, and very
Actually,
fruitful.
that's like a much longer explanation to it, but I don't think we have time to address everything.
So
Yeah, all right,
you
all right.
know,
That's understood.
so since you got a lot of experience in it, and I can see like, wow, that's really such a lot of wisdom that you have shared. So what really brought you into the esports industry?
Um, Man, okay, that's a tough question. Surprisingly, I didn't brace myself for that. What brought me in? I'll give a little bit story about how I jumped into esports. Okay, I think
Yeah.
in 2012 I was kind of like trying to figure out something that I want to do with video games because I enjoy playing Dota 1, and I thought and I had a good self realization that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not that good at it. I mean, like back then I was studying in UITM. My seniors influenced me into playing video games, and I was doing really well. I was killing all my seniors. I was playing really, really good, but I have this good understanding, good self realization that even though I can play this well and kill them off, I'm not exactly professional material because I have not seen the outside world, how real professional play Dota, and much how their amazing play sick plays and much more. Because the kind of characters even I used back in the days was not even complicated characters. I think back then I spam a lot of this character called Slark in Dota 1 when it was first introduced and all this.
Yes, the annoying fish.
Yeah, the annoying fish. Yeah, very, very strong hero. Very, very annoying as well. Yeah, so I thought that no, you know what? I'm not gonna go down a career, a path where I know I'm not gonna succeed. So screw the professional player thing. Yeah, I know I'm not that good. So I tried to explore, and I thought to myself that probably I could actually become an esports commentator because during that time I was actually doing English debate. I joined the English debate club under UNITEN, and I kind of like had a little bit of communication skills, a little public speaking skills. I mean,
See?
previously before I joined the debate club, I was horrible. All right, I was horrible, but I had a little bit practice from the debate club. So I thought, what if I were to channel this skill that I have, not really that skillful or anything, but this skill that I have into esports, and the thing that I love. And so what I did was, but I didn't know how to start. Back in the days, in 2012, you would actually see all the tournaments the commentaries are being done by Western people, or should I say people from South America, by Europeans,
Yes. Yeah.
Australians, and even China. Even China already have their own commentators, but of course in Chinese language, all right? Chinese language. maybe Mandarin or Cantonese and all that.
Cantonese.
But in English, of course, obviously it's going to be the white people. It's going to be the South American people, the Europeans, the Australians, so much more. So I thought to myself, you know what? Probably I could kickstart and becoming the first ever Asian to actually do English commentaries for esports. But
Oh, okay.
but this thing didn't exist. This thing didn't exist in Malaysia. This thing didn't exist anywhere in South Asia, even back in the days. Because every time you do an esports event, you will bring this Mat Saleh to Malaysia to actually do commentaries for you. And so how do you start? Okay, because these guys are going to be hiring. So what I did was I engaged with esports organizers, just like how I advise us now. I engaged with current esports organizers during that day. So I approached 3 companies. The first one was actually called eClub. So it's not a club, okay? It's legal. eClub is actually the official merchandise provider for Valve in Southeast Asia. So the whole Southeast Asia region, they were the ones that actually provide the merchandise, the physical merchandise and digital merchandise. For an example, we have something Digital Fortress 2 or something like that. I forgot what it was. Dota 2, CSGO, and all this kind of stuff. So I engaged with them, and they were actually the organizers of Asian Cyber Games. So it's a really big event. So that was the first company. The second company I engaged was Sendi Mutiara Multimedia. It's called SMM as an abbreviation. They are actually the biggest Dota 1 esports organizer in Southeast Asia, where they organize the SMM championship. They do every single state in Malaysia for Dota 1 tournament, and then they have a national championship, and then they also have a Southeast Asia championship as well. Yeah, so that was SMM. And the third company I engaged is, I think you guys know this. This is actually the biggest esports, the biggest cyber cafe in Malaysia, which is none other than Orange Esports. So Orange Esports, I approached them. They so all 3 companies actually gave me the opportunity to actually do commentaries for the events. So for example, SMM, I did for almost all the SMM state level championships. For eClub, I did their Asian Cyber Games, which I did commentaries with Toby One and Gods. My first ever international event, which I did during my career days. It was Toby One and Gods, or Toby Dawson and God's English name is, man, I forgot his English name, but Gods, G-O-D.
David. Isn't his name
David Parker.
David?
David Parker.
Yes.
Yeah, David Parker. Yes, correct. Yeah. So David Parker. And then for Orange back then, they didn't have their intercollegiate yet, which is a varsity tournament, but they did had some small esports activation, which was their Razer tournaments, some of their Blizzard tournaments that they pair up with Blizzard and much more, which I did for them, only for the Dota 1 and Dota 2 tournaments back in the days. So that's how I started off. Basically, I was, to answer your question, what made me start and jump into esports, I think I was just curious. I was trying to find opportunities, or probably I was just lost. Probably the best answer is like I was just lost, and then I found my way somewhere along the line. Thought that doing commentaries could actually become an opportunity. Yeah, but of course, how did my so-called how do you say this interview went? Was that they were asking me a lot of questions because they've never actually hired a commentator before, especially an Asian guy or even a Malay guy or even a Malaysian, right? For it. So I had to tell them that I was willing to actually do a lot of things for them as a commentator. I had to not just do commentaries. I had to host their event. I had to do the live stream. I had to click on live stream. I had to do observer for the game. And I actually had to do the hosting for the pre-game, post-game, and all that. Yeah, and do a little bit of interviewing as such. So I was like this guy who was doing more or less the whole production for the tournament. But of course, not like amazing production or anything like that. But just really basic ones, like, put logo and all those other stuff. And bear in mind, I have zero expertise when it comes to designing, like visual graphics and all that. So back in the days when I did the OBS, what I did was I took the logos of the brand. So for example, let's use this event example, right? I took the UNITEN club logo and then I drag. Okay, here. Okay, that's done. And then I took like the whatever, say for example, Razer logo, Armageddon, Logitech, something, and I drag it there. Okay, and I didn't have a laptop on my own. I don't even have a PC on my own. So every time the events are usually in cyber cafes, so we had to use a cyber cafe PC. So every day in the morning, you have to come early because like for you guys have a prefix OBS, right? But cyber
Mm.
cafes, how they work is that they reset the whole system. So the next day have to come again and drag again the logo and put it back and all that. Yeah, it was crazy times. It was
Wow.
not like
The
Well,
struggles though.
you,
yeah,
you
that
don't
was.
want to you don't want to be in that era. It was crazy times. Okay, like right now, if you're a commentator, all you do is just doing commentaries. You don't have to do observers. You don't have to do
Yeah.
production. You don't have to go live. You don't even have to observe the game or anything like that. You just sit there, watch, and do commentaries on it. So, but because of that, I understand the hardships of what the production team go through because I've gone through those kind of things. And actually, even though they have a sense of respect of me as a commentator, I actually have more respect for the production and the organizing team just because I understand the how to say it, how hard the work is behind the desk, back behind the stage, and all this. They deserve more respect than I do. And whenever it comes to events, that's all I can say.
Yeah, it's very understandable, like for the early days. Like even for us, like even in unis, it's kind of hard to how do I say this? Convince the older people, like the people in like the other departments, like, oh, we're doing esports stuff, and oh, esports? Are you guys just playing games? What about your
Yeah.
studies and all that? Yeah. So when it comes to like doing like starting up things, it's yeah, it is rather hard. It is rather difficult because you don't have any proof, nothing to back it up, especially when you're just starting as well.
Yeah, I feel you. I think my when I did my degree in my university, I don't want to mention, I don't want to say anything bad, but my university didn't want to do an esports club back in the days. Or sorry, no, not an esports club. They didn't wanna. There's a main campus and there's a normal college one. Right? The main campus, I was also the student president for the university, so uh, now I felt bad because I did not help my university build up their esports club at all, even though I was doing great in esports during the start. But throughout my the whole period of studying in my American degree for 4 years, I did not even assist my esports club because I was doing things outside the club, and they were doing their own thing. But I still remember when I engaged my student affairs, I asked them like, hey, I want to do an esports event. Unfortunately, they did not allow it because they felt worried because if parents were to come to the university and see that we actually have an esports club, they will think that we're promoting gaming and all that, and then it will make the students not pay attention in class and more focused on playing the games and much more. Yeah. So, but uni didn't want to set up any esports activities inside the campus. If you want to do it, you go outside, do a cyber cafe, something like that, which is kind of sad because I told the personnel, so the lady that esports is very professional. It's not just gaming. It's not just sitting in a couch and playing games. You will
Mm.
see that the hosts, the commentators, even for you guys, if you guys have events, you're well dressed, full cloth, closed shoes. You have shoes, not slippers, not slipper jambai, not slipper Japon or anything like that, like really, really professional with suits and ties. You would see Ren in really nice dress. You would see Shibri with suit and tie and all that. That's not professional esports. And that makes me want to educate the people, not just, come there with shorts and pakai slipper and come to tournament and all that. It doesn't, not exactly the kind of thing. Yeah, I think, but I understand how you guys feel in university. It's not easy to convince
Yeah,
upper
to
management.
convince and to portray to the outside world that esports is something nice, and yeah,
Correct,
because the
correct, correct.
stigma is still there, right?
Yeah, stigma is still there, which is why every time I tell that I understand how you feel, but I still do have to say that I don't blame anyone, even my university's management. I don't blame, for example, anyone who have this kind of perception because it's highly understandable. Because majority of people who actually play games are not professional, and only the selected few who are actually doing gaming professionally, which is esports, are the ones which are not being seen. So it's highly understandable why they have this kind of mindset, and probably it's our responsibility, or should I say our duty, to change this kind of mindsets in upcoming future. It will take some time, yeah, but we always have to remember esports is just probably less than 10% of the whole gaming population. The rest mainly people who play video games casually rather than professionally.
Mm. So, since we are talking about this kind of stigma and perception that most people think of when it comes to esports. So, Flava, what do you think of the esports scene in Malaysia? And on Instagram, I got a question from Ishami. He asked you, is
Okay.
Malaysia ever going to take esports seriously? From Instagram,
Oh,
Ishami.
okay. Man, I like how there's questions from Instagram, there's like Facebook, and there's like YouTube. So the question is Malaysia ever gonna take esports seriously? I think we are. It depends on from which angle you're looking at it. Are you saying on the are you talking about the government? The government? Are you talking about the association? Are you talking about the players or more?
I
Okay, but let's try to actually look at society as a whole. Status quo right now is that we need to face the reality that public perception, more than 50% of the population in Malaysia do not accept esports or look at esports as a sport or a professional sport. Yeah. And less than 50% are the ones who truly believe that esports is sports, is truly the game of the future, and much more. Now, to answer your question, like, are we ever going to take esports seriously? I think we are. I think truly we are. If we're not, then probably you wouldn't be seeing esports being featured in the previous SEA Games in 2019 in Manila, Philippines last year. All right. For those who do not know, esports for the first time ever became a medal event in SEA Games or even any, may it be Olympics, SEA Games, or whatever like that. For the first time ever, was during SEA Games 2019 December in Manila, Philippines.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
6 medals were contested, and out of 6 medals, Malaysia managed to obtain 1 gold and 1 bronze. The gold was for Hearthstone by Dr. Yu, and the bronze was actually for Mobile Legends Bang Bang by Team Bosco. All right, so they were actually representing Malaysia during last year,
yeah,
December.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes, we've covered about it as well.
yeah, correct. So basically, we are taking it seriously. But even before that, I'm just using that as an official example. But even before that, or even that itself, you can actually see, or you can see track records of esports athletes where we've represented Malaysia in multiple international level esports initiatives, or should I say tournaments. For example, our highest achievement for Malaysia for Dota 2 is that we've actually gotten third place in the world for TI by Team Orange Esports. So by their CEO, Mr. Frank. We also have achieved other than SEA Games. We have a number of athletes who have gone to world tournaments already. We have players from our country, which is not representing Malaysia, which are being bought by international esports organizations to play for their country. For an example, we have this team called Tailu. They have a female CS:GO team, which they actually took in one of our female CS:GO player, Ramona. So Ramona is actually currently playing for a China team right now. We have Mid One. Of course, everybody knows Mid One. He's our
Yes, yes, mid one.
yeah, our Ipoh representative from Perak, Malaysia, which is currently playing for Team Secret. We have Mushi, our proud national esports icon for Dota 2, who have played for
Yeah,
multiple esports organizations. He's played for Fnatic, he's played for DK, he's played for Mineski, and much more. Yeah, so you can
yeah.
see.
He was in the orange team, right? That one that took third.
Yeah, he was actually in the Orange. He took third as well, together with his all his teammates were actually Malaysians. Yeah, correct. And um, but when you ask the question, it's like, are we ever going to take esports seriously? I think as a whole, we're not really taking esports seriously, but the ones who's going towards who are becoming professional esports players and all this, I believe that they are taking esports seriously. I'm not expecting the whole country to take it seriously, because as you know, like I've mentioned, we still have an issue when not everyone is fully acceptive of esports to begin with. Therefore, if they're not even accepting esports to begin with, then there's no reason for us to think that they are actually accepting esports seriously. And a lot of people are against esports because they truly believe that esports is just a game. Even for my parents, I mean, this is just me being honest, and my parents don't see esports as something professional even. but I understand where they're coming from. They were actually from different times, and probably they were not exposed enough to what esports is, and they see video games as video games and nothing more beyond that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, understood. That was, how do I say this? When you mentioned like the number of achievements, like I realized that I'm still not. How do I say this? I'm still not that versed enough in esports to know all of this. Like I still need to ask people about, oh, what did our country do for this? What did our country get for that? Like I know the I wouldn't say, how do I say this? I know the major titles like for Dota. I know who won this. I know when our country is in there. But like when you say like Hearthstone and stuff, yeah, I'm not really up to date there. So yeah, that was really nice. That was really nice for you to say.
Yeah. I mean, for the other esports titles, they deserve some love just because they were not getting much spotlight from the community. I mean, right now in esports, you know that people have their own preference. Everybody's into mobile now. When we talk about esports, everybody keeps talking in 2020. Everybody keeps talking about PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends.
Yeah.
The game after that, probably people will look into FIFA, PES, Dota 2. But then the unsung heroes, the ones are not being mentioned are, for example, we have StarCraft 2, we have Hearthstone, we have racing simulators. For example, the one that our national Formula One driver, Alex Young, he actually has his own esports tournament with his own esports initiative where the winner will become a real life driver, but
Wow.
not Formula One. I mean, Formula, I forgot, was it A1, A3, A4, F4, something like that? Yeah, but imagine this, the winner of a video game racing simulator tournament by Alex Young will end up becoming a real driver in real life. Yeah, but of course, before that, we actually have a winner for last year. His name is Mior. He won the event. He won the event, and so the idea was getting him to actually become a real life driver. So he has to go through all this rigorous training that any other sports driver have to go through. He has to go to the gym, do physical exercises. He has to lift weights. He has to cardio. He has to go through mental, physical training, G-force training, and much more. So yeah, training him to be a athlete, which is just amazing. But like I said, for these unsung heroes, esports titles, they're not being mentioned. They are esports, just that people have their own interests. You know, people look at Mobile Legends, PUBG Mobile more fun, and they kind of forgot that there's other things at the back there. We have trading card games, we have racing simulators, we even have VR. Beat Saber is
Mm-mm.
considered esports as
Mm.
well.
Yeah.
We have, FIFA, PES. Now we have FIFA Pro Club, 11 versus 11, and much more. Yeah, there's quite a few as well. Yeah, they deserve some love.
Okay, so now that we've talked about what talk about the ones we talked about just now. So now that we've known how like how you think about esports, what your opinions on things, what's the most precious moments that you've had in esports, like the experiences that you've had from start to like maybe now, things that you maybe like come to mind at the moment.
Yeah. When it comes to precious moment.
Precious moment.
Yeah.
Man, quite a few. I mean, one of the best moments of me. Well, there's a lot. There's some funny incidents. Which one? What do you want? You want some funny moments, or you want some really big, amazing moments, or anything like that?
We want both.
Both. Okay.
Both, like anything you're fine to share, just
Yeah.
share. Yeah, we'll be happy to hear.
Great moments. I think one of them has to be Malaysia Cyber Games. Malaysia Cyber Games, for those who are not familiar, Malaysia Cyber Games was conducted twice. Until now, it was conducted twice. I forgot which year. If I'm not mistaken, Malaysia Cyber Games 2015 or 16, and then another one actually happened last year. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Now, this Malaysia Cyber Games was attended by our ex Prime Minister, Dato Sri Najib. And it's kind of like, I think he is the only ex, or should I say Prime Minister, who actually attended an esports event. I mean, esports tournament and all that. After that, our current prime minister attended, which is Tun Mahathir. And then Tun Mahathir attended, our ex prime minister as well. So Dato' Sri Najib attended two events, which was Malaysia Cyber Games, the first one and the second one. And then Tun Dr. Mahathir, our ex prime minister as well, attended Hari Sukarnagara last year. And so basically, he had a walkabout and she had to sit down and actually watch the game as well. So that was actually something that I really love because it's very tough. I get to meet the prime ministers, both prime ministers, and an esports event is something to highlight as well. Other than that would be ESL1 Genting. So if you guys have not been to ESL1 Genting, it is an amazing event because as the name states, it was conducted in Genting Highlands. It is a 2-day event where usually what esports fans would do is that they will go on a Friday and then the event's a Saturday and Sunday. You will stay at the hotel, so you get to enjoy Genting, and at the same time you get to enjoy some esports activities much more. But the highlight for that event was I actually hosted twice for Genting Highland for ESL1 Genting for this booth, this brand called MSI, and then it was such a small booth, but then we managed to garner more crowd compared to all the other big booths we have around the area as well. Just because during that time I knew how to attract the crowd, and what I actually offered to the people from MSI is that I will not just host for you or MC for you. I would actually do free casting for the matches at the booth as well, just to garner to gain attraction, get people to come to the booth and all that. I mean, it was such a warm and fuzzy feeling for me lah. Yeah. I guess personally that's for me like really really big moments. Other than that, it's probably just doing casting with OD Pixel, Shiver, Gods, Toby One, all the esports talents and all that. But yeah, so those are really the glorious moment. Now let's talk a little bit about funny moments. Okay, there was an incident where I messed up on stage, being a esports host and MC, or even as a caster. Like for example, in when I was still doing commentaries in 2015, I was actually hired to not hired. There was this group called Beyond the Summit. If you guys are familiar, if you guys in Dota 2, they actually contacted me.
BTS, yeah.
They contacted me at 2 a.m. in the morning. I was still playing Dota, so they saw me online and they were like, "Hey, Flavor, are you still awake?" Yeah, I'm awake. What's up? So they were like, we're tired from doing commentaries from morning till night because their timeline is a little bit different, right? So they were tired. So they wanted somebody to take over because they were sleepy and all that. I was like, okay, let's do it. Okay, how do you want me to do it? Just be in Discord, just go in lobby and do your normal casting live stream on the BS. So I did. I started my casting at 3 a.m. and then I finished the game around 4 a.m. So to prepare myself for the next game, while waiting, right, I kind of like laid my head back on the gaming chair and I slept. I slept, meaning that I missed the whole game. I missed the whole game. So what happened? No, but I was already in the lobby. I was in the lobby in the spectator area. So when I joined in the game, the camera did not move because my hands were not on the mouse. My fingers were not even on the keyboard as well. So throughout the whole live stream, the camera was just static in the middle of the map, just in the middle of the map, and it did not move. So people were making fun of it because they could see the heroes pass by the middle lane. They're like, "Oh, I see something." Oh, okay. No. Yeah, so that was one of the most embarrassing moments ever. I missed the whole game, but luckily, beyond the summit, they were fine. It's okay. It happens. Like what to do. You can't come too much over about it. And the other thing was probably I mistakenly announced Dato' Sri Najib's entrance during Malaysia Cyber Games 2018 because not mistakenly announced. I did not say his name wrong or anything, but I thought he was coming in through the door. So when you have prime ministers coming to event, you have all this amazing medias coming in. Like Bernama, TV3, TV1, TV2, 7th edition. Astro, Wani, whatever it is, all this crazy media is going to be there to cover, right? So I announced the arrival of the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Sri Najib into Raza, into the hall, and everybody had the cameras on there on the door, and he was not there. and then I realized that
Oops.
he did not actually enter the door. He was actually going somewhere else. I was like, oh no, okay, guys, I had to cover up. And during that time, I was actually emceeing with Natasha Hashim, which is currently working with IGN right now. So that was that was bad. So I had to apologize to the media. That was a test run, guys. Chill, chill. So that was a test run. My mistake. I thought he was coming in. So yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. The media just laughed it off, and then they were like, "Yeah," because it wasn't a live recording. It was just a pre-recording where later they would just publish it somewhere else.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sort of like helps a bit. I mean, no one's perfect, right? Like everyone makes mistakes, even professional, like even the more well known, like the ones that you mentioned, even they make mistakes as well. Like
yeah.
the ding ding ding. If you know the like the Dota cast, I forgot who did it again. Like because it was some like ogre doing something and it's like ding ding ding, something something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so this all in-game, uh, something like in-game sounds. Yeah, in-game. Yeah, in-game text and all this. Yeah.
Okay, that was really interesting. Like, because it's really nice to know like the things that you've been through. Like, because everyone pretty sure like, oh, to be this, you need to be able to do this perfectly. You can't do mistakes. If you do mistakes, you're gonna be the laughing stock of everyone. But no, like, like you said, it's a learning experience as well. Like, it's something that you need to go through. Otherwise, you won't know what to do during those things, right? Like you said, you sort of covered it up saying saying it was a test run and some things because those things they help you grow as well, right?
Yep.
They're the things like help you improve like who you are, how you become like in your case like a caster, a commentator, like a host as well. This is like while we're talking like for esports, this also applies to everyone else that are interested in just becoming like a regular host as well, right? It doesn't
Yep.
necessarily mean that you need to be in the esports scene to be a host because you have hosts for every other thing.
Correct. Yeah. Even for me as an individual, I do emceeing for all kinds of events, not just esports related. So I do annual dinners, galas, press conference, even for weddings, Malay weddings. I do hosting for RTM and all that. Um, but I think people kind of like when they see me and they meet me, they think that, oh, Flavor is probably really good at MC. Probably probably he is already very fluent in English to begin with. Therefore, that's why he's in host and MC and all this, which is not true. I when I attended school, primary school, secondary school, technique school from 4 from 5, even during diploma, all of my friends knows that I'm not that. I'm a very shy guy back in the days. I was nerdy as well. I can't do impromptu English talks or anything like that. Basically, I did public speaking once, which I kind of like memorized one paragraph. And you're supposed to talk for 7 minutes, right? But I only spoke for 30 seconds because that was the only thing I memorized.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then I left the stage, and because I have nothing else to say because I didn't memorize everything else. So it wasn't impromptu and all that. So actually, for me, I had a rough start because I'm not skillful to begin with. I'm not even good with English. I can't even do public speaking, so I had to start like from scratch. And back in the days, I was kind of a little bit down because I see that there were other people who were at my age. For example, when I was 12, when I was even 17, even after school and all that, there were people who were speaking like Harvard English, and you're like normal English, and they're like Harvard level, they're like Oxford level English. It's kind of high level communication skills, and they can actually do public speaking, impromptu, whatever they want to say. It even sound and feel, and they even sound really, really good as well, very crisp in their language. So back then and now, it's very, very different because right now at least I can do those kind of things as well. But it took me a little while, but I can't help to get a little bit jealous over other people who are much better than myself. And I truly believe that there are a lot of people out there who can actually do even better than myself, just because probably you guys have like a proper, an early upbringing in life, or probably you had a you had a good start. You start even earlier than I did. For me, because I started after I did my diploma, And if you guys start from school, you guys can actually end up being amazing or even world-class commentators by the time you get to 18, 19, or 20 years old.
Yeah, that was what I expect because how do I say this? Well, I'm not really sure what else to add with there. Anyway, so right now we have like another question coming in. It's from Facebook. So this is coming from Amni, where he's asking like, how do you take the news of possible inclusion of esports in the 2021 ASEAN Games?
Okay. Actually, I am the one who is having talks with all the ASEAN Electronic Sports Federation, and together with all the country esports associations in ASEAN as well, to actually having talks on this. And everybody was briefed on the same day to actually engage with our Olympic Council, our country Olympic Council, to tell them our interest in having esports included in the upcoming SEA Games and ASEAN Games as well. So actually, there's two ASEAN Games as well as SEA Games. There's two different ones. Okay. But of course, on 7th, if I'm not mistaken, now is actually the 29th. On the 7 or 17th of July, 17th of July 2020, we have already submitted our interest in having esports, because esports was already included last year, 6. But we understand that for the upcoming 2021, they will reduce the amount of sports in total. Not talking about esports, but in total. Like, let's assume previously there was 100 sports. Now it will be reduced probably 50 or something like that. So you have to do a give and take. For esports, we had 6 before, so we don't want to be too greedy. We cannot apply for 6 again or even apply for more, but we're gonna apply for probably 2 or 3. I mean, that's enough. You don't make too greedy, because other sports will be complaining. Like, we had to reduce the amount of medals that we're competing for, but esports, you wanna apply for the same amount or even more. That's not fair for other sports, because we need to give room for them as well. There's other sports in Malaysia, not just esports. For me, I really, really hope that the Olympic Council for Malaysia would actually bring this forward to the ASEAN Federation, to the other Olympic councils, for them to accept esports in the upcoming 2021 Asian Games as well as SEA Games as well. Because for our first entry, esports into SEA Game, we've already achieved having a gold medal. In most cases, a new sport jumping into all this international level or even country pride tournaments, you enter but you don't end up getting any medals. But for esports, we've proven that we can actually achieve getting gold medals for the country, which is a really, really high achievement to begin with as well. Yeah, but fingers crossed. Let's pray for the best, and inshallah, esports will be accepted into the upcoming ASEAN Games 2021. For me, since the question was, how do you take the news? I'm very happy when it's brought forward. So my responsibility is to inform my association of all this information coming out from ASEAN Games 2021 as well as SEA Games 2021. So my team would actually process the information and actually make a move on this. So my deputy president, Mr. Afiq Fadli Narawi, was the one who worked together with KBS in pushing this forward to the Olympic Council and moving it. Yeah.
All right. So, and then we have like a few more minutes here. So let's see. We do have another question here from Andrew Aaron. He's asking, like, I think we've sort of touched upon it earlier, but he's asking, do you think esports in Malaysia needs fixing? And on top of that, I'd like to add, if we are trying to explain like the fixing part and try to explain to people what esports is, like, what would you say to those people? Like, what do you get from esports if you are to be like involved in it as well?
Okay. Man, the word fixing is so general. It's like, if I say yes, okay, my answer would definitely be yes, fixing. But I also have to address what kind of fixes are needed, in which part of esports is needed. Okay. Number one we need to fix is that, man, esports people, gaming in general, people who play esports game are toxic, meaning that you guys are not being mindful of the things and the things that you say and do, which portrays negativity in esports in the eyes of the public, and especially in status quo, which is really really bad. Esports could have been big by 2020 if people collectively work together and pushing forward the good values in esports, and actually, stray away from all this negativity, because we understand that when you play video games, you play in servers where you end up meeting people from other countries and all that. You tend to become toxic, where you say bad things on online or even offline. So this has to go away. This needs to be fixed, because if you really love esports, if you really want the industry to grow, you need to stop all this toxicity, I would say, as well. Yeah. Number two, one is fixing, is that in esports we are not where we have not reached the maturity level of esports, just like a certain number of esports games in the world. For an example, the two most mature esports games in the world is Dota 2 as well as Counter Strike Global Offensive. Oh, and one more is also League of Legends. The reason why I don't say PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends is because I think because these people who are involved in Mobile Legends and PUBG Mobile are not exposed to the international scene, meaning that how mature the esports scene is in the Europe region, the South America, the North America, or even in Australia, or even in China. They think that PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends is like big and huge, but we are restricted to seeing the scene only in the countries within South Asia. And in most cases, these people probably have no understanding of how esports actually works in other countries, and they're only exposed to this small circle within Malaysia only, and they think that, you know what, Mobile Legends and PUBG Mobile is the biggest, mobile gaming is the best and all that, but they fail to actually do research and understand how the esports scene, the mature esports scene, works in the world level. Yeah, which is something relatively new to them as well. But I don't blame them. It's because probably they're not exposed to it, and we've only started to actually, get exposed ourselves. For example, PUBG Mobile, we recently had, currently we're having the PMWL, or PUBG Mobile World League by Tencent Games. And this is our first time engaging with countries outside of Southeast Asia. You will see Yudo Gang and Team Secret engaging with not just Team BTR, not just meeting out teams from Thailand, Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, but also meeting countries from India, from the US, the Europe, and much more. So it's a different kind of scenario as well. But because this is first contact or first meet up with all of them, they still haven't figured out the maturity part of the esports scene yet. All right. So that's actually cancel the professionalism part. We're talking, I think this is more focused on the maturity part. Number two. Number three is professionalism. The problem with the esports scene in Malaysia right now is, you may think that we are there. We look good, we look great, and all that. We're not there yet. Unfortunately, in professionalism part, we're lacking in terms of esports athletes, esports talents, as well as esports organizers as well. Now, just to mention one by one, for example, for esports athletes, right? We see teams in Malaysia. For example, we have Team Orange Esports, we have Team Bosco, we have Team Secret, we have Team Udo Gang, and a lot of these professional teams. They are professional, but the ones who are not part of this big circle of professional teams, they still don't understand the meaning behind professionalism, behind behind becoming professional athletes. I'm not telling them to go to the gym and becoming professional and do workouts and all that, meaning that professionalism in their attitude, their appearances, and their mentality. So these professional teams, usually they tend to appear and look very well in terms of appearance. They say the right things, they communicate well, and much more. Whereas in some of these teams who are not professional, they are not being mindful on the things that they say or do, especially towards talents, towards esports organizers. Very disrespectful, and not mature enough to actually understand what you can and you cannot do when it comes to esports, especially when you want to deem it as a sport as well. Yeah, so that's on players, and then we have some esport talents as well. We understand that some of the esports talents are relatively new who just jump into esports and they don't understand how to become professional in the things they say and they do, especially when coming on camera. You need to understand that esports organizers, the ones who actually organize the events, the one who actually gather the fundings, who prepare the proposals, who does the production, who hires people to actually work in the company, pays its noise and much more, have gone through rigorous amounts of hard work and preparation to make the event well. And the talents are, in most cases, are the frontliners of the event, where their faces will be seen on TV, they'll be seen on cameras, they'll be seen on stage, and much more. And because of that, you have to be mindful of the things that you do or say before the event, during the event, and also post event as well. You see some talents are very unprofessional in terms of the conduit, for example, saying some vulgar words during live stream, which you're not allowed to, especially when you're going on TV, because there are restrictions, because you need to respect national TV. You cannot say the F word, the N word, the whatever kind of word and all that. You cannot say WTF. You cannot say WTH or whatever it is. So being mindful of things, you might jeopardize or ruin the hard work of esports organizers, which they have already done for the past few months. For commentators, talents, hosts, MCs, all they have to do is just come on over to actually perform their duties as a talent for a number of days that was being set by the organizers. But the organizers went through a hellhole where they had to prepare for months. As for some of them, they might have planned it for almost a year just to ensure that the event goes well as well. So esports talents, also a problem, not professional enough as well. Some of them come to events not wearing the right attire, not dressing up well because they think that it's just a video game event. There's no reason for you to wear a suit and tie. Probably just a normal shirt will be enough and all that. But you have to understand the standards have raised in the esports scene, and wearing normal long pants and normal shirts is not going to cut it anymore, because right now we're trying to move forward into portraying esports as a professional sport, not just your normal daily activities of playing games only. Yeah. Okay, so that's one on talents. Okay, in terms of their appearance and also the things they say, and also their mentality of things as well, and how they behave and being disrespectful towards esports organizers. This is something that I can be honest with is still ongoing up to this date as well. Yeah. And and the next one is, since I've already addressed talents, athletes, we also want to talk about esports organizers. Now, the thing about esports organizers in Malaysia is that we have a number of really amazing esports organizers in Malaysia. Just to name a few, I don't want to hurt people's feelings if I don't mention them, but just to name a few of the good ones. Okay, you know who you are. We have in Malaysia, we have IU Esports, we have Esports Business Network, TGC, the Gaming Co. We have Access Esports, we have ESL1, Genesis, Flux Broadcast. We even have quite a number of organizations. Don't blame me. Okay, we have Cove Esports, Pantheon, Battle Arena, and much more. Now, these are really, really good esports organizers. Okay, like I said, don't be sad that I don't mention you. Okay, you guys know who you are. You guys are amazing. But there are some new entries. I understand a lot of people see that esports is something as like a booming market that they want to tap into. There's a lot of money into it, a lot of local, lack of foreign investment, to be honest. And they want to tap into it. They want to end up being esports organizers, but they end up not doing a really good job at it. They were not going through the proper procedures. For example, not getting a PGS license, not getting approvals from the Majlis Bandaraya, not even getting their KV, their key visuals, or even their CI creatives to be checked under game publishers. For example, for Mobile Legends, we have under Montun. For PUBG Mobile, we have under Tencent Games. So for Riot Games, we have Valorant and all this. For Garena, League of Legends, and all this, they don't check. They feel that it's not important for them to actually get approval from game publishers and much more. And these kind of conduits actually make the esports scene look bad in Malaysia. And it actually affects, how do you say this, people's trust, people's interest into the esports scene. Because there are people out there, big brands out there who want to put money into esports, but because of this incidents, it ruins the opportunities for these good esports organizers in Malaysia, because they've already done a good reputation in doing really good events in Malaysia. But unfortunately, some people kind of like ruin the market and are not being professional enough in their activities and all that. Probably they did not have, they do not, they lack knowledge when it comes to organizing events. They don't understand. People keep thinking that how hard can organizing video game events be? I mean, come on, it's just a PC, letak PlayStation, or letak VR or whatever it is, and then do tournament. How hard can it be? It's not that easy, to be honest. Like some of these esports organizers, some of them took them a couple of months or even a couple of years of research before jumping into doing it, because they understand the importance of understanding the community, understanding how operations work, especially on rules and regulation and conducts of esports tournaments, hiring the right people to actually do it, hiring the right talents to do the events, and much more. Yeah, because in Malaysia, unfortunately, right? I mean, since UNITEN Esports Club has already invited me to actually give the talk, right? In all honesty, um, M- Malaysia has had a few incidents where we had a few international level failure events. Okay, although Malaysia has probably more than 20 times of international level events, which has done so well in our country, may it be within our country or even overseas, by our own esports organizers in Malaysia. But you know where, when you have a clean cloth, one dark spot is the one that's actually obvious compared to all the good things that you do. Everybody remembers the bad things, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we have a few international incidences which I don't want to mention, okay, which made Malaysia look bad in the eyes of the world. For such a small country, we have achieved great feat in making failure events. So, which is very, very unfortunate right here. But of course, over time, I think we're recovering from that. Right now, we have a lot of parties who are very knowledgeable in doing events and much more. So hopefully we don't have any issues when it comes to professionalism by esports organizer. And if you have any questions, if you don't know, try to approach these esports organizers for advice, for guidelines, and much more, because they have done it for so many years. For example, like company like Orange Esports and Minaski Events team, and Genesis, I think they were amongst one of the ones who have been around the esports scene for the longest time. I mean, Minaski Events team Malaysia is already gone. They've converted to IU Esports. They're amongst one of the top veterans we have right here in the country. Yeah, together with the gaming company, which is previously Fallout Gaming, and all that. Yeah, that's kind of thing. So if you ask me about, since the question was about fixing, right? We need a lot of fixing, but I'm just naming a few that we need to fix as well, and hopefully in the future that all this gets to be addressed over time. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, feel free to. You can go overboard beyond 11 as well. I've already like saved like 2 hours for you guys. Don't worry. For UNITEN Esports Club, you guys get like extra. No, don't worry about it. Right.
Wow, thank you.
No worries. I had no issues with it. Yeah, no issues with it.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
all right.
Okay. Thank you for your time. So I got a question from Instagram. It is from Jopi Jabi, but it is quite out of the question, out of the context of esports. He just wanna ask you, Flava. He asked milk first or cereal first?
What? Uh, Easy. Okay, since I eat a lot of cereal, right? Cereal first. Because if I
Cereal
put
first.
milk first, I cannot gauge how much milk I need for the cereal. Although at the end, after you finish eating, I will still have leftover milk, and then you can just drink it. It's very hard to gauge because the cereal will float on the milk. If you put the milk first, it will, some of them will float, and if it's heavy enough, then it will just submerge. Cereal first, okay? I'm sorry if I'm against whatever your belief is, but cereal first.
Yeah.
All right,
So
thank you about that.
thank you. So Shibi, do we get any more questions from YouTube or Facebook?
Right, so there's one question on Facebook that it's sort of like a basic question, like questions when it comes to when you're playing games with people, basically multiplayer games like Dota, CS:GO, and not. For any form of games, are you the type of person that whenever you play, do you ask your teammates, do you want to win or not? Like, do you not want an instant win? Something like that? Yeah. it's kind of a
And
bit like weighted a bit.
are you talking about situation where if a player DC on the other side and then uh, do you want to wait for them, or what do you mean, or am I just a playful player who like if kalah kalah tak apa, kalau menang pun it'll be great, right? Or is it
Yeah,
like a win kind of thing?
I'm not sure myself because the question is rather vague, but let's just assume it is. Let's just assume that the enemy team is one of them disconnected. So are you the person that just goes on like you don't want to wait on people and you just go because it's a free win, or do you like you are you the more considerate person where you're like, yeah, you just tell the team, yeah, we'll just wait, we have time, something like that, I guess. Because the
Yeah.
question itself from the what's his name again, from it's from Arif Jauhari, yeah. So yeah, his question is
Oh,
a bit vague. So let's
okay.
say like, yeah, so yeah, what do you
Let's
think
try
of that?
both. Let's try both scenarios. Okay. As an individual, when I play only rank games, meaning that I don't play the normal matches, something like that, which is unranked. I only play ranked games because I love winning in competitive matches. Okay. Yeah. So I truly play to win. So I will do my level best in the game to actually win the game, not just for playful. But of course, if it's a fun game with friends, I don't mind. Doing some stupid stuff in the game and all that, especially playing with some friends and families. But usually in most cases, for those who know me, I usually like to play rank alone because usually some people are busy on that, and then a lot of waiting time if you wait for your friends. So I just play my own, right? Unless they're already ready and then just want to join me in. So feel free to add me on Steam if you want to play Dota. And to answer your question on the second scenario, if the enemy were to DC, right, or if my team were to DC, I would
Yeah,
pause
yeah.
for both scenarios because I think, man, what's the I mean, I understand you want to increase your MMR, but where's the fun in winning a match where you have the advantage of 5v4? Okay, or 5v3. There were incidents where there was a 5v3, 5v4 because not because of disconnection, but because the enemy, one of them kind of like got emotional, one of them was being toxic or whatever it is. But these kind of things happens vice versa, right? You wouldn't like it if you were to win by having that advantage. I mean, like, it kind of shows that you're worried that you cannot win a 5v5 game. That's all I'm saying. You feel that if it was a 5v5 game, you will not be able to win. Hence, that's why you kept pressing the F9 button to unpause the game when it comes to Dota, whatever it is. So this is something where, I mean, for me, you need to have good sportsmanship. But for me, other than sportsmanship, I don't think it's a win unless you have a 5v5. The good feeling that you win through the legal way, not saying it's illegal, but through the right way is much more satisfying than winning a 5v4. I mean, you beat a team that has a disadvantage. Come on, where's the honor in that itself? And I have no time to press the F9 button and all that. But usually my teammates, because they're random people, I don't blame them. Some of them, they have their own reasons why they press F9, because probably they're playing in a cyber cafe where you're playing by time and you pay for the time that you're playing a cyber cafe. Therefore, you didn't want to wait for the enemy, so they just press F9 on that. I understand. I'm not saying that what we're doing is bad, but if you do have the time, do wait. Because come on, man, why you want to win a 5v4 game? I mean, you wouldn't like it if your team was your teammate was disconnected and then they wouldn't wait for you, right? So if you were to do that to your opponent, then you should not be angry if your opponent resumes the game when your team is having a disadvantage of such. Yeah, that's my thing, and hopefully it answers your question on that.
All right. Thank you on that. Okay, so here's wait, do we still have time? All right, okay, I guess we can like maybe one or two more questions here. Okay, so another question from Akmal Amni here. So, what do you think of esports engagement in university? I know we talked about when you said because we get to be exposed to the scene earlier, we will most likely be able to be more successful faster. But like what he means is that is it a good initiative to nurture young talents there, or should we start earlier? As for us, like even for UNITEN has like we've been in the scene, we try to train players, like you said, make varsity teams and all that. So yeah, is it a good thing to like start the esports engagement in university right now, or should we start earlier?
I think I mean, just to answer this, right? The earlier the better. I mean, I don't see why you have to wait until you're in varsity level, maybe university college, and much more to actually be to start your career in esports. I mean, like, if you can do it earlier, great, so that by the time you reach university, you would already have a certain amount of skills to become a player, a caster, commentator, a host, or whatever it may be, doing productions, um, doing key visuals and all that. So the earlier the better. um, so that's my straightforward answer to it. But university esports clubs is a great initiative. It's a great initiative as a start, but you need to build it up over time. The thing I realized that I've done already 7 talks at a number of universities already, physical talks. So I've done 3 virtual talks, including this is my third one itself. Every time I advise these university clubs and all this, everybody wants to do an esports tournament. Everyone, trust me, every single university that has engaged me wants to do an esports tournament. And I tell them that you need to understand that your university management or your college management doesn't want to hear all you do is only tournaments as a esports club. They want to see other initiatives. For example, they want to see you do talks. They want to see you do forums, public speaking, seminars, webinars, workshops. For example, what if your esports club were to offer a caster workshop? You invite some amazing esports talents to your workshop. For example, you can get for MC, you can invite either myself or you can invite Mr. Faras from EGG Network. You can invite Mr. Faisal Arifin. Yeah, he's a veteran esports MC under EGG Network during the first season. Muaz Ahmad and all that. This for MC workshops. Or you can actually invite Miss Natasha Hashim, which is previously from EGG Network, and then now she's IGN. And we have Jolin Tiong. We also have Fear Fendi, who is also an MC and a host. She actually is, even though she doesn't do much, but she is. She's actually quite good right now as well. And more. Okay, just to name a few. Don't get angry if I don't mention your names. For esports talents, like for example, if you need casters, you can invite PUBG Mobile, amazing duo for Malay. You can invite Janda Hunter and On the Go to actually do workshops or guild talks. You can invite English casters like Choo Choo Gaming. We have Sir Cloud. We have Amy Muhammad, who does esports casting. There's a lot. Okay, there's Teng Dawe, Brian Chen. We have Uwo the Magical, Leonard Lee, Leon, Dana Lee from Australia, who is currently here resigning in Malaysia. And man, I feel bad if I don't mention your names. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, just don't get angry at me if I don't mention your name. There's a lot of esports talents out there. Okay, for casters, Victor Cax, and all that. Okay, we have FIFA casters like Ayman Rosizam. We have Bear, and we also have Matthews, who's a number of them doing TVs already, and someone doing real football. We have racing simulator commentators and all of that. So these are the kind of activations that you want to do aside from esports tournament, which makes the management feel like, hey, you know what? These guys are not doing a video games tournament. Plus, it's much lower in cost, true to be honest, because you just have to prepare a venue. You don't have to do rentals on PC, internet line, which is, sometimes you have issues and all that. So these are the kinds of initiatives that would make esports look more professional in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of your university, or should I say your varsity management, and also to the students, much more appealing to tell the people the career opportunities we have right here in esports, which I love to talk about because there's so many out there, but you just have to find which one actually suits you. So those are the kind of things that university, I mean, think of it like this. If you were to be a management officer in your student affairs, or should I say in a Malay university, they call it Hal Ewa Pelajar, HEP. All right, and in English, you usually call it Student Affairs Division. They will be more than happy to approve your event if it was a seminar, if it was a talk, or if it was a workshop, rather than an esports tournament. Or probably what you could do is that you can actually do an esports tournament and at the same time use all these small activations like seminars, talks, and all this as your side activities to make your esports tournament look even better. And at the same time as well, you can actually invite these esports talents to actually come over, teach your university or varsity students on how to become talents. And I'm going to give an example. For example, Pechepan, okay? He or famously known as On the Go, he could become your PUBG mobile commentator, and at the same time, you can put, for example, Ren or Shibri to become his co-host. So you can see Ren and On the Go sitting next to each other, social distancing, and doing commentary. So it shows that, you know what, On the Go is giving hands-on experience to Ren and Chibri on how to become talents, not just teaching you directly, but there's also practical knowledge as well right there. For Dota, you can stand next to Leon, you can stand next to Uwe the Magical, next to Husky, Danalee, Brian, or even Dawe, or even Terrence, and learn from them directly, not just sitting there, and hopefully at the end of the day, you could learn something from just slideshows or anything like that, practical knowledge on things. Yeah, so these are the kind of suggestions these are the things that I encourage university or varsity esports clubs to actually do in their own universities as well. And one more thing is that actually something to look forward to is that what the varsity esports clubs need right now is actually to have a union, which actually I want to actually start the initiative where all these varsity esports clubs work together in creating a union. You can actually have a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a deputy, a vice, or even a secretary and all that. Create a union where you would actually work together in your upcoming esports events. For an example, right now in let's put UNITEN Esports Club as part of Selangor, Malaysia. Okay, you're part of Selangor, right?
Yes, UNITEN is in Selangor,
Yeah.
technically.
So in Selangor, right, you have a number of esports universities or varsities that already have esports clubs. So, for an example, just to name a few, you have the Taylor's Esports Club, Monash Esports Club, you have the Segi University Esports Club, you even have a UTP Esports Club, you have UKM as the esports club. All of this, guys, all under Selangor. Like I said, don't be angry if I don't mention you esports club. Okay, you guys know who you are. You guys create a union where you support each other through different means. For example, let's say, for example, PKP is lifted, our post PKP is lifted. You can do physical events or even online events. You would actually work together where if UNITEN Esports Club were to have a webinar or a tournament, all the other esports clubs will send in a number of representatives to come to the webinar or the online event contents and much more. If it was the physical events, they would send people to come over and attend the event and much more, and register that event, that supportive event to another university's esports club to the HEP as one of their club activities. Like, for example, today on the 29th of July, we went and support UNITEN Esports Club webinar at their university and much more. This will actually become a good portfolio for all the esports clubs, where when they tell the management what were their yearly activities, it does not just only consist of their own activities, but also involve all these trips to other universities, learning more, engaging, meeting with other esports club, and much more. Yeah, and you don't have to incur so much cost. Like, you incur your own cost in doing your own event, but right now you don't have to do 20 events. You can do 10 events of your own, and 10 more events you go outside and meet up and engage and socialize, networking with other esports clubs from other universities and varsities. That's what the varsity clubs need to be doing, supporting each other. So it's a win-win situation. As much as Monash, Taylor, Segi, UKM, all this send people to your event, you know that in the future, that because they are very friendly with you, if they were to do events in the future, you will be more than happy to support them in their future events as well. These are all what friendships is all about: networking and creating good relations with your universities and all that. But why I say in this state in Selangor state is because sometimes it's not that easy to actually have all the states coming, because it's not always you can actually get people from all the way from Perlis to come to Selangor and all this. But when I say about this union is not just about Selangor. Actually, it's about the whole country. So that the whole country will be updated on esports events coming on from your university, and if they're free, probably they can attend. If they're not, they'll just say, our apologies, we cannot attend, but all the best of luck for your upcoming events and all that. Probably in the next future, you can collaborate where you'll do an official national varsity event, not being done by any other third parties, but by the university themselves. Okay, so basically let's say we do a pact agreement where this year it will be at UNITEN Esports Club, our national level event. Next year we'll do it at Monash. We will ensure, but in this span of 10 years, or should I say in In every quarter, we will do at different universities. UNITEN will get the first quarter of the year from January to April. May to June will be, is it May, June, July, August. May to August will be like different one and much more, you know. Oh, sorry, January, March, April, June, July, August, September, something like that. Yeah. So basically, you're creating fairness for everyone, and everybody wins by having free audience from the other universities, and they also get free audience from you as well, because you have to give and take to actually make this happen. Yeah, that's my gift to takes on the Varsity Esports Club lah.
That is what, like I said, whatever you say is always insightful, because even for me, even for Ren, like everything is very we learn new things every day. Like even though we're hosting this talk right now, we're learning as well. All right. What time is it? All right. Okay, here we have like a very, I would say, a controversial-ish topic. Something that you would say like the toxic people always bring up. So, what do you think? Do peripherals like mouse, your keyboard, your even like headsets and all this, do they determine whether you're a good player or not? Because I say that's controversial because one, it's your money, you can do whatever you want. Like if you're interested in it, yeah, then go ahead and use them. If not, then you don't have to bother people about it. But in your opinion, what do you think about it?
Um, Man, this is a, yeah. You're right. You're right. This is it's not controversial, but it's a very subjective question. Let's put it this way. I understand that skills matters, but you also have to get the right equipment for yourself. It's not just about getting the most expensive, but getting the right equipment. For example, before this, I used the Razer Death Stalker keyboard. All right, it was a sponsored keyboard where during my early days of playing games. Although I don't really enjoy it because it doesn't have the clickiness into it or all that. But I mean, for me, it just worked out fine for me. But I truly enjoy. For me personally, I like blue switches because not just because they're noisy, but because the clickiness is something that I do enjoy as well. Something that probably fits well into the way that I play games and all that. Some people like the quiet types of tactical keys, all this, the keycaps changing the looks and feel of the keycaps and all that. So it's very, very important as well. It doesn't exactly improve. The right word for it is that it does not improve how you play, but it ensures that you play well up to your capacity. So it ensures that a good keyboard or a good peripheral, from headset to for those who do not know, for those viewers who do not know what peripherals are, all right, peripherals are basically mousepad, keyboard, and headset. So those are the normal peripherals being used. So, and together with the microphone, whether it's attached or external, like my Razer Siren and all this. Um, it ensures that you play well, because sometimes if you have discomfort in your mouse or keyboard, all that, this discomfort kind of like affects your play style or gameplay. So it's very, very important. It's not about buying the most expensive one. Let's say, for example, if a Logitech G or MSI or even Asus, Acer, and all those brands comes out with the most expensive stuff, even for Armageddon, sometimes that might not fit you, because for example, like mouse, some mouse are big, some of them are small, some of them have so many buttons, some of them has little amount of buttons, so you have to buy the right one. Keyboard, something to look forward to is the feel of the keycap. Some people like the sticky keycap, some people like the normal gloss one, and also the clickiness of the keycap itself. So basically it's either is a blue switch, brown switch, red switch, or whatever switch it may be. And you have to understand that sometimes there's different kind of switches for different keyboards. Like Razer introduced their own switch, Logitech G have their own switch, and much more. And then there's headset. Headset. Some people like the audio quality like this, and much more. Yeah, I wouldn't say it improves how you play, but it ensures that you play well because you are comfortable with the equipment that you have to play. Yeah, that's all I can say about equipment. Yeah.
All right, very very how do I say this? Yeah, that's something that you learn every day, because it's always like that. You're not that good. Why are you buying that expensive stuff? Yeah, because even I get that. We can even, yeah, even I get that. Like when I was first starting games, like because I just like it. That's it. Okay,
Yeah, just
so
like it. I mean, like, don't judge Shuri just because. Just don't judge him just because he has. You're just jealous that he has a good-looking mouse and keyboard, right? I mean, no, I mean, you don't have to judge the guy. As long as he's happy, you should be happy that Shuri is happy. Okay, you don't have to say he sucks at playing games or anything like that. You know, just respect his personal space.
all right. So, before we maybe go on or something, I like to as well tell everyone that make sure to for everyone that's interested in like interested in UNITEN, like maybe even the students in UNITEN that's not joined that haven't joined in our club, then make sure to follow our social media on like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I mean, for the ones on Facebook, obviously you're already following, but for everyone else, yeah, make sure like if you want to go like if you want to know like for updates upcoming updates for events or maybe like another webinar like with Mr. Flavor again or maybe someone else, yeah, make sure to follow us on social media to get like to be updated on whatever we're going to do next. All right, so we're already at 11:30 right now, so are
Mhm.
you fine with going on some more or do you have
Oh
like
yeah, I can. I mean, I can, but it depends on the viewers as well. So if they have any more questions, feel free to actually do so as well. Yeah,
Mhm, all right,
I'm kind of okay with it. Yeah,
all right.
I do see that some of the viewers are very happy with having the union thing. If you guys really want to do it, start by contacting all the other varsity. Let me just check. Okay? Just start by contacting all the varsity colleges that we have in Malaysia. Start contacting. For example, I have the list. We have Uni College Technology Sarawak, Taylors, Unimap Esports, UPSI, UPSI Esports, MSU, UPSI again, UORM, UTM, Cosmopoint, Uni College Technology Sarawak Esports Club, Monash. IIUM has one as well. What's this? This is Shakir. No. Well, there's a few other. UTP has an esports club as well, and much more. You start by contacting them, tell them about this initiative, have a sit down, and then determine what kind of activities you want to do, and what you want to achieve from all this, and how you can support each other. But all this you need to have a solid plan because you don't want it to end up just being a union but not have activities of your own as well, because you have to do a number of things. You have to do your own activations, you also have to do the union's activations as well, like activities and all that. Or you can just make all this activation to actually be part of the union's activation and all that. Yeah. And I wouldn't mind assisting or helping on this as well. I have a little bit of ideas I can actually share to make it happen. And I could actually also assist in sharing not my knowledge, but not my, I mean, not saying I don't want to share my knowledge. I'm saying that what I can assist on is I can share my knowledge and also my contacts on any other esports figures out there that could fit your initiatives, because people keep thinking that a lot of these esports activities and workshops, you keep inviting the same people over and over again. Probably I can suggest some really good people that you can invite for your event. For example, like On The Go, Jana Hunter, they are amazing esports talents right now for PUBG Mobile and Bahasa Melayu. So probably if you're interested, I can give you the contacts and maybe you can actually work out with them if you can get them to actually come over and give talks and all this. You can invite Mr. Alan Pang from EVOS, Matthew Chan. You can even invite Mr. Eric Cole from Fnatic. You can even invite On The Go from Team Secret, or even professional players, Bosku, and all that. Get them to join in. And probably, you might be lucky and probably they can come over and actually give talks and, give benefit to your union and esports club as well in your own university and varsity colleges. Yeah, that's all I can say. I will assist as much as I can to the best extent. Yeah, it doesn't have to be always me. Okay, I can always suggest you some other amazing people who can assist you in going forward in the esports scene, or even engage with amazing esports organizers like IO, EBN, TGC, Orange Esports, Access, whoever it may be. Just let me know.
All right, thank you, thank you. Glad to hear that because like when it comes to like this union stuff, I did talk to Taylor's current president, Nabil. We did talk some things about this, but then again, like just when we were about to maybe make something happen, the current stuff happened. You know, with us being in lockdown and such, so everything had to be like scraped, and then like, and here we are. All right. So anyway, to viewers out right now that aren't in universities or anything, let me plug UNITEN for a bit, if you don't mind. Right, so right now we're having our open day. So yeah, UNITEN is open for admission at the moment. Therefore, you guys can come over to our website and look around because we are having you could say like online online open day, like I said just now. And to introduce UNITEN a bit, we are recognized worldwide for our facilities. We have great facilities. We have great courses that are open to everyone. So yeah, make sure to come over and look around as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been
So yes.
I've been there. It's nice. Do right. You know what? If you're lucky enough, UNITEN Esports Club might just do probably your next initiative, assuming that all offline events are available. Probably your lecturer and your student, your university esports club could actually invite all the other esports clubs to actually come over and check out your esports club and have a meeting at UNITEN itself. I think that's going to be great. I mean, just a suggestion. It's either that or any other venues, but who knows? Just depends on who starts it first.
All right. All right. We'll definitely look into that. Also, yeah. Also, one more thing. I like to apologize for on behalf of friend because fortunately right now her internet is acting up. So that's why she suddenly left.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for that.
Fine, fine.
You guys can hear me, right? And also, yeah, thank you, Fava, for coming. For joining us in this live talk because this virtual talk is due to the pandemic. We plan to do like inviting you over to UNITEN campus with the students and audience in front of you and give talk physically, but due to this pandemic, we gotta make it go live. So
Yeah.
sorry for the you know,
No, wait. There's nothing to be sorry for. I think this is I think you're just making the best out of the situation itself. I think it's highly understandable. I and plus, you don't want the whole hall to be flooded more than 250 people where you get in trouble for going against the SOP. So yeah, I think this is great. So thank you so much. I should say thank you so much to Unitan Esports Club for inviting me. Thank you so much, Ren. Thank you so much, Shibri, for contacting me on this. And yeah, I enjoyed myself at the song. Don't worry so much about it. If there was an offline event next time in the future, I'll be more than happy to come and support. I mean, even if I'm not invited as a speaker, I'll try to assist as much as I can just by attending or even promoting it in any ways, in any areas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Before we end the question, before we end this live session, we got this one last question on Facebook. It says,
Hold on. Unfortunately, Facebook is having some problems at the moment. Hold on.
Is it the Andrew Aaron Modern, or is it the one, because there's two questions? Yeah, and also by Ilunga Aishi as well.
yeah, it's from Ilunga, I think.
Oh, okay, I get it, because Andrew's one's not really a question. Yeah. Okay, it's okay. I can read it from here. Let me try to address it. Okay. But just because Andrew Aaron Morden has already said a few things, I also want to read it out as well. So Andrew Aaron Morden, I think I just call him Andrew. It's much easier. Really cool name. I have been in the CS scene for many years now, but we never broke it into the world scene. We have players playing abroad, but why are they not playing under the Malaysian banner? When they were here, they were good, but we didn't really had the breakthrough, and we are always cycling the same players for the past few years. I mean, like, it's a matter of choice. Just to answer this, it's a matter of choice whether or not they want to play under the Malaysian banner, of course. But if you guys are interested to play under the Malaysian banner, you can contact me, and probably I will assist you in connecting you with the Malaysia Esports Federation, Majlis Sukan Negara (MSN), and also KBS, because you cannot just simply use the Malaysian name without approval and all this. And it's best to be recognized as a Team Malaysia and then move forward to protect yourself from getting in trouble. Okay, because these are the kind of things where you need to be mindful of, because if everybody claims to become Team Malaysia, they become a problem because you don't follow the proper procedures and things. as well. Yeah, I understand, but it's a great feat that we already have some CS:GO players and varsity level playing on international level. As much as they're not in worlds, don't worry so much. Keep improving, and hopefully over time they would actually reach their goals, and not just getting to worlds, but probably winning the worlds itself. Yeah. So thank you, Andrew. Andrew. So and to answer for Ilunga Aishi's question is that if we were to hold a tournament, what games would you suggest? Um, I would say this is a very subjective question just because whenever you uh, it's actually your decision to select what kind of games, and you need to have good reasonings and backings uh, when you select those kind of games. For example, in Malaysia right now, when you are to do esports tournaments, the best way to garner or actually attract crowd and participation is to do famous esports game. This is like a normal marketing plan. You would either do Mobile Legends Bang Bang under Muntun, or you would actually do PUBG Mobile. Okay, so give me a moment. You actually do this kind of game because it's easy to attract crowd, and you can actually get good ROI. So when your management gets it, you have high participation, high amount of viewers, and good engagements through your live streams and much more. But of course, there's too much of those kind of tournaments going on right now. It will be great if the other way to do it is that you were to do either PUBG Mobile or Mobile Legends, and then you do other games as well. For example, like FIFA, PES. You do CS:GO or Dota if you're capable, because the more game titles that you have to do, the more equipments that you need to have, or more manpower, more expertise, and much more. Yeah. And remember, at the back of your head, whenever you want to do anything esports related or anything you do in life, remember of quality rather than quantity. Okay. If you want to do something very, very well before you want to expand into something else. If you want to do PUBG Mobile, if you want to do, because there were some people who wanted to do 15 esports game titles in the event, but they lacked the expertise and the knowledge and the manpower. Therefore, the event did not go so well. It was like a meh kind of event because you guys were not focusing on the quality of it. Therefore, you will not make your team. Your team's morale is down because the event didn't go so well. The participants are not happy. The management is not happy, and much more. So it's best to just focus on one thing and make that event look good first before you expand it much more. These are what professional esports organizers in Malaysia do before they get their hands into doing more events or more number of esports game titles. They try to start with one, do it very well. They become a master in the event. They can do it with their eyes closed, and then they expand to more things as well. Yeah, but like I said, you need to um, have proper reasoning behind selecting said games and much more. Sometimes, for example, for UNITEN, probably for UNITEN Esports Club, I'm just using this as an example, that if your university, let's say for example, Shibri knows the community in UNITEN. He knows that most of the people here don't play PUBG Mobile flavor. They don't play Mobile Legends. What do they play? They play PES. So it makes sense for you to actually do a PES tournament because everybody's interest there is already in PES, and that would garner viewers and participations and much more. So it's a very subjective question. You need to do a little bit of research on your environment, people's interests, and the reasoning behind it as well. And most importantly, you have to make it really, really well so that your lecturers, the lecturer that becomes your advisor for your esports club, and your HEP, your student affairs division, would be happy with the performance or whatever you do in your event and much more to gain their confidence in next event. They know that, oh, you know what, UNITEN Esports has done well in the previous initiatives. Therefore, we don't have any issues in supporting or even approving their future events after this because they have a good track record and much more, and we have confidence in their ability to pull this off. Yeah, so that's my advice. So whichever you are, wherever you are, wherever you're doing your event, do a little bit of research on what's good and what's not, and what's hot and what's not. So, yeah, that's how I would answer Ilunga Aishi's question on this.
All right. Okay, got it. What's hot and what's not. Okay, so we gotta stress about here quality over quantity. All right, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess I guess that's all the questions that we got from Facebook and also YouTube, right, Shibri?
Yes, I'm going through like everything like in Instagram, Twitter, yeah. So that's it for today.
Yeah.
No other questions.
So so I'm guessing that this live session has coming to an end. So before we end this live session, on behalf of UNITEN Esports Club, we would like to greatly thank Flava. Thank you, Flava, for
Yeah.
joining this live session and for sharing with us a lot of your tips and also your experiences on being a commentator and also in the esports scene. And
Mhm.
personally, I'm really sorry because for not joining this live like on and off is because of my Wi-Fi and line and such. So do you have any more last words to say, Flava?
Um, if you have any more questions, feel free to PM me at my own personal page. You don't have to PM me on my fan page or anything like that. I'm very, very open. You can just DM me on my Facebook or Instagram. I mean, you don't have to go on Instagram to DM me. Just normally just go on Facebook. My real name is Muhammad Farouq. You can just search me up as well. Feel free to ask me any kind of questions, even after this whole session itself. And of course, I just want to say thank you so much to the UNITEN Esports Club for inviting me. Thank you so much to Shibri for the person who contacted me on this a few weeks back. So because he made all these arrangements very, very early on, almost like a month of preparation, all that together with your team.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Ren, as well
that's
for
no
being
problem.
here. Yeah, thank you so much to everyone in the United Esports Club, and for those who are currently watching, may it be on Instagram Live, a Facebook Live, or even in YouTube Live itself. Feel free to actually support the Uniten Esports Club, by actually liking their page or following their page for future esports initiatives, not just webinars, not just talks, or probably the esports tournaments, workshops, and more. And I look forward to hearing from each and of you guys if you have any more questions beyond all this itself. Yeah, I am truly honored to actually be invited for this.
Yeah.
And we're honored to have you here as well.
Yeah. So we're going to take a live selfie. So how is it going to make? We are going to
Who
take a
will take a
screenshot.
selfie? Okay,
Yeah.
can.
So okay. So just do any pose that you like.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, you let me know when the selfie.
Okay, three. Okay. Okay, we're good. All right.
In case everyone's wondering, I assume that Ren is using the car's internet. Some cars have their own internet, right? So I'm using Ren. Like, are you using the car internet to go live here?
No, 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 I'm not.
Like, you could have been inside the house for some particular reason. You're in the car doing this.
Yeah, it's because this is not my house, and
Okay.
this whole area actually sucks with their Wi-Fi.
So you stole somebody else's Wi-Fi.
And not really.
Like, is that what you're trying to tell the viewers? Wait, I'm confused. Okay. So whose house is this? Did you ask for their permission for the internet?
I'm not using their internet. I'm not using their internet.
Oh, okay. So you park at somebody else's house. Okay, this is so confusing, but okay. All right.
But let it be a secret.
Okay, this is like illegal activity going on. Anyways, yeah. All right.
Don't worry about me. I'm at my own house.
Okay, yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
All right, so let's say our goodbye here.
Right. So just before we properly end, like I said, make sure to follow us on social media on UNITEN Esports. Not just us, even Flavor as well. And if you guys have anything like to ask, ask us, just feel free to DM us or DM Mr. Flavor here. All right, guys. So that is it from us today. Uh, as per topic today, it's like what is esports inside out and all that. So we are done for today, and hopefully you guys had a good time with the talk. To the viewers, if there's anything, like again, just ask away after this. And for us three, it should be done as well. So yeah, thank you for watching us, and have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right, have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day.